The Match Ball.
Hello there and welcome to the show. We are streaming live for some Hardy Souls on YouTube, exclusively for our Hardy TSB Plus members. You can watch the show later and listen in your podcast app as well. The Match Ball, Michael, is brought to you with Levi Solicitors. There's a 10% discount on your legal fees, isn't there?
There is. I'm glad it's not their birthday month anymore because I'm not in the mood for celebrating it.
Yeah, the fun is over now.
It is.
That's it, isn't
The 15% fun is all done.
Yeah, usual 10% discount on your legal fees on all their range of services, which you can find at levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. Details there, terms on the website. Down with you with Michael and with Rob in the third chair. We lost at Millwall, so let's start off with your big three. That was shite.
The big three words?
That's the big three.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well done.
Yeah.
We were struggling to come up with anything there, but you nailed it.
Took care of that for you nice and early. There, boys.
Cooper is tall.
Yeah.
That's another three. Yeah. It looked a lot like a Leeds Millwall game.
I was going to say I've seen that many a time before. It just felt like watching an old replay back. Apart from Steve Morrison wasn't there.
If you will permit me, I'm going to jump from the big three straight to Farker Watch, because I think this is where you see his limitations exposed in the worst way possible in games like that, where he's not proactive enough. There's not enough to try and change the game. The subs are predictable. The play is predictable. And the plan B appeared to be doing the old lob everyone on up front, and it didn't work.
I really hate it when he does that. I know it worked at, was it Norwich away last season? But every other time, it's just, everything becomes shapeless. You lose a midfield. Joel Pirro is suddenly our holding midfielder, the one guy, the best finisher in the club, who you want the ball to drop to in the penalty area if you do get half a chance, as you saw with his offside goal. I know he doesn't contribute a lot more, but if you're going to have him on the pitch, don't have him as a holding midfielder. But I mean,
it's one option.
Yeah, the Fark thing, wasn't very good tonight, but nothing. I didn't like anything to do with Leeds United tonight.
No.
I thought everything was under par.
Joe Cairns is asking, are we going to have another happy clappy match ball where you refuse to criticise Farker? No, because it's quite obvious that it didn't work, did it?
No.
It works more often than not. Tonight it did not work.
No.
That said, we did dominate the game. Like, statistically, we absolutely were all over them. But unfortunately, there's no cutting edge and there was very little in terms of fluency. And we ended up playing their game, I think, rather than playing our own a lot of the time. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have clear chances, did we? The Nonto header at the near post was probably as good as it got. And I read the goal disallowed, but it was rightly disallowed. That aside, an awful lot of stroking it side to side, achieving
It's a lot of crosses, which just pointless when they've got, as you were saying, Gary Barlow's son in defence. Like, why do we... Heading is not our strength, I don't think, but there was just a lot of chipped crosses into the box. And, yeah, all our attacking players, I thought, really underperformed as well. I thought Nonto, since the international break, I think has been off it, but really wasn't good tonight. Dan James, a lot of running down blind alleys. Brendan Aronson, very Brendan Aronson, like, some all right bits, and then just doesn't do a lot with it, I don't think. He had a half-decent chance in the first half. Our first shot.
Straight at the keeper.
It was all a bit, wasn't it, tonight? Very predictable. I think we could have played for hours there and not scored.
Yeah, I said when Joseph, it turned out, hit the post, I think when they got that, I said, I kind of hope they score again here just to put us out of our misery so we don't have to properly watch the last few minutes hoping that something happens. And sure enough, they nearly did.
What do you think of Ben Whitfield's comment here that's on the stream? This is the thing with Farker Ball. When you win, fine, whatever. It's like it's been tonight. It just, when it's been like it's been tonight, it just looks lacklustre, ponderous and too nice. Sometimes a game just needs grabbing by the dick.
I think there's something in the fact that there's not always a huge difference in our performance between a defeat and a win. It's just that we get a breakthrough and then the controlled football is all well and good. But when you can't get the breakthrough, it just feels like we're just doing a little training exercise where we'll do the same thing over and over.
Keep recycling the ball.
Exactly. And it's like, this isn't working. I think to go back to his subs, it was just obvious what was going to happen. You wait until 70 minutes, and then I suppose the subs themselves I wouldn't necessarily have picked. But when they came about, I felt like it's just late in the game to try and change things. When you've seen an hour of that game, I think that's enough to make some changes.
That was probably about the point, because we came out, I thought, in this early part of the second half, and the offside Pirro chance where it would have been 1-1, was offside. We saw on the replay. I think absolutely, fair enough. No complaints for that. We'd got a little bit of a head of steam up to that point, but I think I probably started to mentally check out a little bit after that when it was quite clear that it was just not going to happen. And then, lo and behold, you're just waiting for, I think one of my mates messaged me saying, only 5 minutes till we get the subs, and it was, again, exactly the same again. Sometimes you've just got to mix it up. Do something different.
Yeah. And I don't know what that necessarily is, I suppose, because I suppose getting Joseph or Bamford on sooner would have been an option, just to give a little bit more. Because I suppose the difference it could make, even if you think you accept they're not necessarily going to win much against Cooper in the air, for example, if you can push them, if you can keep him pushed in his box more because you've got a striker running at him and trying to get on crosses, it then creates more room on the edge of the box, maybe. So then there's a bit of space for someone else. It's like there are different ways you can try to create space on a pitch. It's not just about make it wider and then you create more space, because we do make it wide, but then it just makes it easy to defend the centre still because you can be compact in there because we're not going to score from a touchline. So it's, I don't know, it feels like we're a bit, well, more than a bit. We are very one-dimensional sometimes in games like that.
Yeah, it doesn't it? When you meet a team that's set up in the way that Millwall are set up, and we knew what they were going to do. And I think I'm not saying they were necessarily aided by the ref. I thought the ref was just shit all round. We can do ref watch if you want. Dickhead ref watch. First game he's ever refed of ours, I think. Right. But just some truly weird decisions throughout that game.
It's like he decided what was going to be a free kick before anything had actually happened. He's like, Bogle's going to foul him here. And then it actually didn't. But then
Bogle, essentially, that one that he gave, and you're talking about the second half.
He just ran up behind him.
Just touched him with his arm, didn't
he? There were a few like that.
But and then the Bamford one, where he went through.
Yeah, I was just going to say, as Michael remarked at the time, actually, he said that doesn't get given the other way.
No.
And if it's in the penalty area, you don't get a penalty for that. So it's just they're just not fouls.
It's a weird, different set of rules, isn't it, for fouls in certain areas of the pitch and if you're in a defensive position rather than attacking position. I mean, the Erling flop was a thing, and it worked every single game for years and years because refs, for some reason, seem to like giving that sort of thing. I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, and I mean, I know we're viewing it through, yellow tinted spectacles here and seeing it from a Leeds point of view, and I'm sure he did some the other way as well. He probably would have done. It was just weird. It's just a really weird performance.
Yeah, but I equally, I don't think it made a huge amount of difference. It'd have just meant the ball was in play a bit more and we could have done more of the same shit.
Yeah, I think when it got to the very last minute and Illan Meslier is going up for the corner, which we had to take twice. The first one had to be retaken. But both of those corners, we aimed at our own goalkeeper, which probably summed up the fortunes of our attacking players tonight, that we were like, should we just give it to the goalie? He might be able to score. I was all up for bringing Gilavogi on up front and just like, let's just try and out Millwall them, basically.
Yeah, do something absolutely renegade. Yeah, there was a corner, I think, that we kind of laughed at in that second half, Rob, where I think we hit the penalty spot, and all our players were on the 6-yard line, and it just fell to them. I was like, don't you idiots practice this stuff? Have you not worked on it a little bit? It's no surprise we don't score from many set pieces and corners if that's the result of it. It feels just strikes you as brainless.
Yeah, I know they tried a couple of low ones, didn't they? I think did one fall for Firpo, but then I don't think, did we take a short corner or anything? It was just...
We did that low one.
Yeah, there's a couple of low ones, but we never took a short one. I don't think, like we saw at the weekend where you take it short and either Nonto or James just tries to curl it into the far corner. It was like, we're just going to keep crossing to that massive bloke in the middle of the box for them.
I mean, I think it's one of those nights where you know exactly which way it's going. And as we said, like you probably knew it from early in the second half. Barring a miracle, it just didn't feel like it was going to go in. But you don't need to lose your shit and worry where the whole season's headed. I don't think, speaking only from a personal point of view, it's fine. As long as we win on Saturday, okay. All right, it does heighten the pressure, I suppose, a little bit on the game against QPR. But you are just going to lose some games at this level. And I didn't like that tonight. I thought Farke got it wrong, but he sadly has these games in him where you want to see him be more proactive, take the game by the scruff of the neck, but it just doesn't seem to be a thing that he does. So what can you do other than hope it all works out all right in the end?
Leeds United has these games, especially at Millwall. And there's a lot of Farke's football that I do find boring and just get bored of seeing the same thing over and over again. But I do also think you should be able to criticise the players' performances as well. And I've got a few notes here between the 72nd and the 75th minute. Bogle daft volley, miles over, was never going to score. Nonso abysmal cross straight out. And then Bogle with like a Rasmus Christensen throw in, which he got away with, but then Rodon just booted it out for him. And it's like, you see that and it's like, not winning now, we're just going to lose it.
Yeah. Bogle wasn't great tonight, I have to say.
He wasn't.
He's a bit frustratingly brainless at points. He just does anything. Wait, not that decision.
Preston have drawn 0-0 with Sunderland, so although we lost and they have gained a point on us, they've still dropped points.
If only Sheffield United had not got that late goal, it wouldn't actually look like a terrible week, would it? Because they'd have just gained a point on us, each of them teams. But oh well. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those. You're not going to say we should sack Farke because that'd be stupid.
Yeah,
but I can completely understand that people are sick of seeing the same thing over and over. And you can look at a lot of away games, probably leaving aside Sunderland because that was a winning performance, which something strange happened in. But you can look at Bristol, you can look at West Brom, games where you think, well, if we even tried to win, and if we've maybe accepted not winning in certain games, and in this, once we went behind, it always felt like it was going to be a bit of an uphill struggle.
I don't think that was for a lack of trying to win, though.
But
I think it was playing badly.
But I think maybe it all feeds into the same thing of that if you don't go for it, if we beat Bristol, for example, you can afford to lose this one.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're generally a little bit timid and you're not racking up enough points in games that it's there for the taking, you can't afford defeats.
Yeah.
So
teams that go up find a way to win, as you've just seen from Sheffield United, which they didn't deserve that, but they dug it out by pushing for it. And you wonder sometimes if we push enough for it. Thanks to Ben for relaying Farke's comments, saying congratulations to Millwall for excellent defending and efficiency. They were more effective at using their chances than us. We have to accept it.
It was a good finish, I have to say, for their goal. It wasn't a brilliant chance, I wouldn't have said, when it was knocked down to him. I think I know you can't read too much into it, but I think the XG on it was 0.08, which suggests in a particularly great chance, and it was a decent finish. I thought Mellier's feet were maybe a little bit static on it. Could maybe take a step, but maybe I'm being overly critical. I think the defending wasn't great either, although it's Cooper who wins the header, and he won every single header.
Yeah.
And he always will win every header.
Which is an absolutely perfectly fine, acceptable tactic.
Yeah.
Hit the big man.
If you've got one, do it.
Yeah, we seem to be bad at that, don't we? From our point of view. We never fully exploit that.
Rodon did have that header, was that in the first half from a corner? Which was a pretty good chance, actually, like unmarked at the near post. And it was hard to tell whether he was trying to flick it on or go for goal, but it was kind of neither in the end.
He might not have known.
That's true. He did have that look afterwards that he always has, of just looking permanently confused and angry. But yeah, Pirro up front had one of those games where you just think, do you know there's a game of football going on around you at times?
He's passive, isn't he, sometimes?
Massive. There was times in that, I think it was the first half I was just watching him, he barely moved, like just really sauntering around the pitch. And I know when we've got all the ball and it's kind of all up their end, maybe there's not a lot of space, but there was like the odd ball that was dropping in the box, Pro was just sort of standing still. It's like, come on.
Yeah, and there was a cross in the first half as well. I commented at the time saying Pirro should really be. Someone needs to attack the near post on that because it was just
made for Joseph.
It was cleared out. Yeah, but if someone's running into that, basically the same chance that Nonso put over. In fact, at the start of the second half, but it's not really Pirro's game, is it, to do that? So
he was just stood next to the goalie, wasn't he?
Yeah.
At that point.
Well, if you've got Joel Pirro on the pitch, then surely you should set your tactics up to exploit that and try and feed him in the way that he did last year. But then again, last year he was playing deeper. He was playing as a number 10, slightly withdrawn with Ruter ahead of him. So what do you do? I'm
not sure our tactics have shifted much this season when we've had Joseph and when we've had Pirro. Maybe someone could do some analysis on that who isn't me. But I don't know, it doesn't feel like there's a massively different tactical setup for it, though. We just still kind of hit the same balls in and stuff. Whereas maybe we need to target them a little bit differently.
There was never any, like, just get into the byline and try and cut it back or anything. It was the same cross over and over again.
It felt like did it feel to you, Rob, like they were willing to let us do that because they've got Barlow Jr. in defence there?
Yeah, definitely.
Turn us inside, restrict the chances, stick the ball across, clear it. Happy to do it all night.
Yeah, work, didn't it?
They did work, yeah.
Worked well.
More comments from Daniel Farker. Thanks again to Ben. I'm not annoyed with the performance. I think we were excellent in the first half, creating more chances than the last 4 away teams at the Den combined. Cutting edge was missing. Yeah, but it's your job to do something about it, isn't it? Create some cutting edge. And he's gone for the full-blown overloads late on with all the people on, all the attackers on the pitch, but it's clearly not enough, is it?
I don't think that first half was excellent either. I thought we were quite poor in the first half. Like you saw a lot more of Millwall in the first half, I thought, than the second half. And I don't think they had a shot, did they, in the second half? Because it was Joseph that tried to score for them, which was a strange moment.
Yeah, I don't recall any. For some reason, it's not showing up. The big chances stat that you get. The XG we had was kind of made up of lots of.
I don't think there'd been any. I did look at it.
It was all just lots of little things, wasn't it? That are a sort of a 0.7 here and a 0.7 there, 0.07. Sorry. But yeah, like we had 14 shots, 4 on target.
No big chances for either team.
That's kind of how it felt. It was a pretty shit game. It was very they scored and held on, but the thing is, they weren't really. I don't feel like they were holding on in the same way as we have at times when it's like scrambles in the box and stuff. It was all quite arm's length stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it felt quite easy to hold us off.
All quite a neck's length. He was always going to Cooper's head, I guess, but.
Yeah. It is a very familiar pattern just looking down the stats compared to many games that we have had over the last season and a bit. So I don't really know what to draw from that other than sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and it's really frustrating when it doesn't. And I wish he'd do something to be better at that, but he doesn't. One
stat I noted down at half time was that we'd made 3 tackles to their 16, and obviously that is heavily weighted because we had all the ball basically. I think our tackle success rate was 33% and theirs was 69%. So it was just like they're winning all the second balls basically and just winning those physical battles, which just disrupts the game all the time, doesn't it, as well?
I mean, we don't need to dwell on this one tonight. I don't think it needs to be a particularly long match ball, but let's rattle through the features. So who's your man of the match?
Tanaka again, maybe.
Who's Mob giving it to on our team?
He uses it. He just, I don't know, he feels like he keeps the ball for the most part.
Even him at the end when he got a throw and just put it straight out.
Yeah,
the job is fucked, isn't it?
Yeah. So he got 7.5 out of 10, Firpo 7.3, Rodon 7.3. The rest were all sub 7, which I think is a fairly accurate representation of what happened there. Top scorers, Barlow Jr. 8.3 at the back because obviously he got an assist as well, didn't he?
And just won all his headers.
Yeah. Against a bunch of small weedy boys. So are we giving it to Tanaka for us?
Yeah, whatever.
Picking none of them can have it, really.
Yeah, no one deserves it today.
None of you deserve it. Right, that's that dealt with. Optimism scale.
Any game where we've
lost at Millwall.
We lost there in the last promotion season.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
What actually happened in that? I can't even remember.
That was when Berardi got a red card that shouldn't have been.
That one.
I think we have lost fewer games this season than we had at that stage of the promotion season. I think we've lost 3 times at that point.
I like Wayne's approach. That was an out-and-out championship game, which is beneath us, so we should just move on. Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite right, actually.
Yeah. Just refuse to accept it. Yeah.
It is weird because I wouldn't really want any of Millwall's players, but they did do a very comprehensive job on us tonight.
Team sport, innit? That's the point.
Honest performance. So Gary Rowett describe it as.
I mean, yeah. How
many honest? Very keep him honest. Got to be honest.
Yeah.
He's an honest player.
So imagine what his team talks must have been like. Guys, about honesty again. What do you mean, Gary? What does honesty mean?
I was very fed up of him by the end of that, I must admit.
Because there was a lot of being touched and falling over like professional footballers do. Is that honest or is that dishonest?
You've got to keep it. He's keeping the Leeds players honest by going down.
By being dishonest.
By being dishonest. It keeps everyone honest. Something like that.
Do you want any money tonight, Michael?
I will have done, yeah. Put a $5 on Millwall.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know what.
What were the odds before the game?
I don't know.
God, you're not even checking now, are you?
I think it was about 5-1 or something. 4-1, I think. Maybe they were. So that's good, isn't it?
They are 5th, which I didn't realise. Silly old league.
Yeah, it's not really on, is it? Millwall being 5th. The thing is, I don't think they will be up there because they won't be able to do that against other teams. It's like it seems quite a Leeds specific setup. Does that?
But that is a lot of teams do that. I mean, it doesn't work a lot of the time, which, means I suppose we're decent at breaking that down a lot of the time. But it is when it doesn't, as I said earlier, when it doesn't work, it's very frustrating. Ben with some further comments from Farker regarding substitutions and subsequent plan. It was more of a 4-1 at 4-1. 2 more midfielders responsible to build up our game. We wanted bodies closer to the box to use our offensive players to score goals. It was a bit of a transition game. Wasn't sure if Rothwell could handle the last 20 minutes.
I thought it didn't make any difference, did it? I mean, we've seen it now, so we can comment whether or not the theory of it was correct. I don't know, but it didn't work. So
shite.
Whatever, really. I can see the chaos factor of chucking players on, but there's also a logic that says playing loads of people in slightly the wrong position isn't going to yield great results. So maybe don't do that.
Just do something better that works.
Just do something better that works.
Play better.
Yeah, for it was. I've won 20 quid.
How do you feel about that?
Absolutely delighted.
Well, then I think we can safely wrap it up there. We've said all we need to say about this one. It was shite. Let's move on to QPR.
Suppose, yeah. At least because it's this is midweek. We can kind of ignore it for propaganda next week.
Yeah, but it'll be long since forgotten by then.
Yeah,
it's just a load of blokes in flat caps, isn't it? It's fine.
Basically,
yeah. There were a high.
There's a lot of flat caps. There is,
fair enough.
When you go Millwall YouTubers,
it does get
a lot of flat caps.
Gets drafty down there by the Thames.
Is that right?
That's correct. You'd suffer, obviously. But you'd fit in with the old shaven head, wouldn't you? Anyway, that's enough. We're finished with the match ball. Thank you for joining us on the live stream. We do appreciate it, especially in the wake of a defeat. You can find the audio version in your members feed for extra time. We're going to do a little bit of bonus chat now. Yay! What we're going to talk about?
Being Robin matching shirts. Talk about that.
all the stuff we're too cowardly to say on the public feed. If you want to become a member, you can get to thesquareball.net /plus and do check out today's propaganda. That's fun. The little swearing Cardiff Child's on that. And we're going to chat to Aidan White on Friday as well. See what he makes of actually the approach tonight and the tactics from a pro's point of view. Would you be over there having a word with Farker?
Oh, is that what you're going to say to him? Or where would you stand if you were on that pitch? Ask him some real basic questions.
All right. Cheers for joining us on this one. We'll see you soon.
The Match Ball.